What's up, Hammers supporters? Before diving into today's news, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what you think about West Ham's situation. You won't want to miss anything. West Ham United's young side traveled to Cornwall and made the evening feel straightforward from the moment the match settled, sweeping Truro City aside with three well-taken goals from Callum Marshall, George Earthy, and Mohamedou Kante. It was a clinical 3-0 victory in the National League Cup, and everything about the contest suggested a clear mismatch in levels between the squads. The tone of the night had been set before kickoff. As soon as the team news filtered through, it was obvious that Truro, rooted at the bottom of the 5th tier, were about to face not merely a talented academy side, but several players who have already shown they can compete 2 or even 3 steps higher up the pyramid. That difference in pedigree became visible almost instantly. George Earthy wasted no time in showing why he carries such strong expectations around Rush Green. His first major involvement saw him surge the length of the pitch on his own before finishing with authority. Minutes later, he turned provider, slipping the ball across for Marshall to double the lead with the composure of someone who had already tasted Premier League football earlier this season. Marshall himself looked sharp and confident, playing like a forward far more experienced than his age suggests. 10 goals on loan at Huddersfield in League One seemed to have added steel to his movement and instinct, and his recent first-team debut left him carrying the swagger of someone who knows exactly where his career is heading. Earthy, meanwhile, continued to demonstrate the promise that earned him Bristol City's Young Player of the Year award. Even with the quality gap obvious, Truro still found pockets of resistance. The scoreline might suggest one-way traffic, but the hosts managed enough attacking intent to keep West Ham's backline alert. Yet every time a moment of danger loomed, goalkeeper Christian Hegyi stepped forward, quietly reminding everyone that Finlay Herrick is not the only young goalkeeper pushing hard for recognition. His interventions were critical, not because West Ham ever looked in genuine doubt, but because he turned half-chances into nothing at all. On a night dominated by Earthy, Marshall, and the relentless running of Kante, Hegyi ensured the clean sheet stayed intact and the team's dominance remained unquestioned. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. Christian Hegyi's performance grew in significance the longer the match went on. While the headline moments belonged to Earthy and Marshall, it was Hegyi who transformed routine saves into defining snapshots of quality. His presence carried a sense of calm, but more importantly, a sense of readiness, as though he had come to Cornwall determined to prove that his pathway toward senior football remains very much alive. The contrast with Finlay Herrick's current momentum only sharpened that point. Herrick, recently called up to the England under-21s and now training closely with the first team, has been widely regarded as the next in line among West Ham's young keepers. A former club coach, Linus Kandelin, even praised his confidence with the ball at his feet, an attribute that has become increasingly valuable at Premier League level. Yet Hegyi's display suggested the conversation should not revolve around just one name. There is also the looming uncertainty surrounding Mads Hermansen, whose future could shift rapidly if West Ham decide that a January departure is worth considering. Should that happen, the door behind Alphonse Areola may open sooner than expected. Herrick would naturally be part of that conversation, but Hegyi's sharp, commanding outing at Truro hinted that he intends to push his way into that discussion as well. What set Hegyi apart on this particular night were the moments that demanded pure instinct. The official Truro City report, generally reserved in tone, described him with a string of emphatic adjectives: inspired, excellent, stunning, superb. Those are not labels handed out lightly, nor to a visiting goalkeeper, and the reaction inside the ground reflected the same feeling. When both sets of supporters applaud the same save, that alone tells the story. The applause came first when Will Dean connected with a flick-on from Tom Harrison, forcing Hegyi to deliver a lightning-quick reaction stop. It was the kind of save that keeps a team's rhythm intact, a quiet but decisive moment during a match West Ham already controlled. The ground rose again minutes later when Tyler Love-Holmes climbed highest to meet a tempting cross, only to find Hegyi's glove waiting for him with even greater authority. That second stop felt like the true turning point, the instant when Truro's hopes of sneaking back into the tie evaporated. A point-blank save, instinctive and fearless, it underlined how alert and confident Hagi has become after working his way back from injury. That sequence alone justified the praise from the Truro staff and supporters and captured the theme of his recent performances. Those who have followed Hagi's trajectory understand how important this run of form is for him. Last season's loan at Debrecen was cut short prematurely through injury, leaving him with a sense of unfinished business. This November, however, he has been playing like someone intent on reclaiming lost ground, producing a stretch of consistency that has markedly changed the energy around his name. Some of those performances have even carried a touch of controversy. In the EFL Trophy win at Swindon Town, his alleged play-acting infuriated Ian Holloway, overshadowing a superb last-minute reflex save that should have stolen the headlines. Whatever the debate around that moment, the footballing quality was undeniable, and it contributed to a narrative that has steadily strengthened over the month. He followed that display with another inspired showing against Wolves in Premier League 2, a tight 1-1 draw where his reflexes again proved decisive. Days later, he kept a clean sheet as Lincoln's young hammers put 3 past Liverpool without reply. Each performance added weight to the feeling that Hagi is entering one of the most convincing phases of his development since joining the club. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. Christian Hagi's situation now rests at a crossroads familiar to many promising young goalkeepers, the point where potential alone is no longer enough to justify staying in development football. Turning 24 next year means he is edging beyond the typical age for an academy or under-21 keeper, and this season increasingly feels like the moment when he must convert strong performances into tangible steps forward in his career. The clarity of his displays throughout November suggests he is doing everything possible to make that transition a realistic possibility. His loan history reflects a player who has already tasted the physical demands of senior football. Spells at Stevenage, Den Bosch, and Motherwell gave him a varied education, different countries, different styles, different pressures. Those experiences should have positioned him perfectly for last season's stint at Debrecen, but injury disrupted that trajectory at the worst possible time. For many young players, such a setback becomes a silent weight, but Hagi's recent form shows the opposite. He has treated that interruption as fuel. At West Ham, the goalkeeper hierarchy is changing shape with unusual speed. Alphonse Areola remains the established first choice, but the dynamic beneath him is fluid. Finlay Herrick's rapid rise has shifted expectations, and the uncertainty around Mads Hermansen's future adds further complication. In the middle of that shifting landscape, Hagi's response has been to make every appearance count, as though each match is an argument for his long-term relevance. It is a difficult situation, but one he has approached with focus rather than frustration. There is also a subtler dimension to his resurgence: confidence. A goalkeeper can spend months training brilliantly, but confidence arrives only through meaningful games, decisive moments, and saves that alter the rhythm of a match. Hagi's evenings against Swindon, Wolves, Liverpool, and now Truro are building those layers one by one. None of them were Premier League fixtures, but each contained the sort of engagement that shapes a goalkeeper's instincts under pressure. He is beginning to look not like a player hoping for a chance, but one preparing to seize it. This matters because West Ham's academy is entering a period where several positions are producing Premier League-ready talent. Marshall, Earthy, and Conte are clear examples in attacking roles, and the club's long-term planning depends on refreshing the squad with homegrown depth. A goalkeeper breaking through carries additional value, especially one with Hagi's reflexes and frame. If Herrick is currently viewed as the internal favorite, Hagi is positioning himself not as the alternative, but as additional proof that the club's goalkeeping pool has rarely been stronger. The underlying question, however, remains whether senior opportunities will arrive in East London. If they do not, Hagi may face the same decision many talented young keepers eventually confront: whether the pathway within the club aligns with the urgency of their career timeline. At 24, patience becomes more difficult to justify, no matter how strong the environment or coaching structure may be. Other clubs will have taken notice of his recent surge in form, particularly those searching for a shot stopper with size, reaction speed, and the humility to work his way upward. For West Ham, that creates a delicate balance. Keeping hungry, improving goalkeepers is essential, yet blocking their progress risks losing them just as they reach a vital stage in their development. Hagi's last month makes it clear he belongs in serious discussions about the club's long-term plans. But seriousness must eventually turn into opportunity. The next few months will reveal whether that window opens naturally, through rotation, cup matches, or squad changes, or whether his future will require a move elsewhere to secure the senior minutes he now appears ready for. Until then, nights like the one in Cornwall will continue shaping his narrative. In a match where others scored the goals and grabbed the immediate attention, Hagi produced the moments that endured. The saves that earned applause from opposition supporters, the interventions that preserved control, and the composure that spoke louder than any celebration. Performances like these rarely remain unnoticed, and if he maintains this level, he will soon force an answer to the question that has followed him for months. What comes next? So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, share, and of course subscribe to the channel for more. Take care, and I'll see you next time.